As 2018 draws to a close, it's time to take a look back at the very best games this year has to offer, and despite plenty of controversies, we've had some truly fantastic titles that will be remembered for many years to come. So without wasting any more time, let's dive into the top 10 games of 2018. First up at number 10 is Forza Horizon 4. Turn 10 and Playground Games have proven time and time again they are best at making driving games, and this iteration is another fantastic example of that. This time the Horizon Festival is set in the UK, Edinburgh to be exact, and features changing seasons which not only affects how the world looks, but also how you tackle the roads. The game is absolutely packed to the brim with content, including some incredible showcase events that are always impressive, and is easily one of the best games of this year. At number 9 we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. When Origins was released last year, it was a breath of fresh air, bringing new life into the tiring series that many felt burned out on, bringing with it fresh new combat mechanics and RPG elements. Earlier this year, when the new title was announced, many were concerned that while Origins was great, Odyssey may be too similar, bringing back the series fatigue. While Odyssey is indeed similar to Origins, it does enough to differentiate itself, providing a massive open world, naval exploration, dialogue options, a new setting, choice of protagonists, and general refinements across the board to the combat and customization that makes it for more than just a copy and paste sequel. Number 8 is the only VR game on this list. Prior to playing Astrobot Rescue Mission, if you had told me it was going to be one of my favourite games of the year, I definitely wouldn't have believed you, as on the surface, it looks just like any old generic platformer, but the way it utilises VR is extremely imaginative, and footage definitely doesn't do it justice. The game does a great job of incorporating you the player into the world in numerous ways, from physically leaning around corners to find collectibles, to moving out of the way of enemy attacks. Astrobot features 5 worlds, each with their own expressive, unique boss battle, and it's an absolute must for any PlayStation VR owner. Coming up next at number 7, we have Dragonball FighterZ. There have been a lot of Dragon Ball games over the years, but FighterZ may just be the best yet, and even better, it's not just a great Dragon Ball game, but a great game in its own right. FighterZ perfectly captures the anime art style and animation, but also provides some really engrossing, competitive gameplay that's easy to jump into, but hard to master. With a healthy roster of 24, containing some of the most loved DBZ characters, they all feel completely unique from one another, a story mode to jump into with a new, completely original character that was designed by Akira Toriyama himself, and a solid online component, Dragonball FighterZ is perfect for both casual and hardcore fighting game fans. Spot number 6 goes to the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, a collection of the original 3 Spyro games, remade from the ground up in one collection. Remakes of old games are both exciting and a little worrying, as there's always that little bit of concern about whether the remake will be handled well and if the gameplay still holds up today. Thankfully, the original Spyro games are still incredibly fun and have been remade with real care and attention to detail, bringing the trilogy up to today's standards with incredible visuals, better controls, and necessary character redesigns that make for one of the best experiences this year for both old and new fans. Game number 5 is Dragon Quest XI. It's been a long time since the West has received a mainline Dragon Quest title, but it doesn't disappoint. Whereas most JRPGs nowadays feature real-time battles, Dragon Quest XI remains turn-based, and while not difficult for the most part, it's really enjoyable. The game features a great cast of diverse characters you'll grow to love, a typical but also really interesting story that even after the credits are rolled isn't over, with a long epilogue that adds a whole new story arc to beat in order to see the true ending. On top of all that, Dragon Quest XI is a stunning game with an art style that looks outstanding, thanks in part to character designer Akira Toriyama, and is arguably the best JRPG this year. Next is a game that just came out, one I'm sure you're all familiar with, the fantastic Nintendo brawler mashup, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Ultimate has an insane amount of fighters, coming in at a massive 74 in total, complete with over 100 stages from tons of different series, addictively fun and competitive gameplay, and a story mode to sink your teeth into. Once again, Smash Bros proves it really is the ultimate go-to game to play with friends, and is an amazing celebration of not just Nintendo's numerous characters, but also gaming in general, with even more fighters from non-Nintendo series joining the prestigious foray. Number 3 goes to Marvel's Spider-Man that was created by Insomniac Games. Like the Dragon Ball series, there have been many Spider-Man games, with none getting it quite right, that however, all changed with the newest title. Spider-Man on the PS4 is easily one of the best looking games this console generation, whether it be during the day or night, it never fails to look jaw-droppingly incredible, and as cliche as it sounds, it really does do an impeccable job of making you feel like the web slinger himself, which is something most of the previous games have often failed to do. Spider-Man provides a great sense of fluidity, satisfying combat, and a genuinely engaging story that had me gripped from start to finish. Taking spot number 2 is Rockstar's long-awaited Red Dead Redemption 2, a prequel to the 2010 original focusing on Arthur Morgan, a member of Dutch's infamous gang. Red Dead Redemption 2 is arguably the best looking game around at the moment, providing a massive realistic map to explore at your leisure that you can easily get lost in for absolutely hours without even touching the main missions. While some have complained it can feel slow at times, that's more than made up by just how immersive it is, with insane amounts of detail across every aspect of the world. Arthur Morgan is also a great protagonist, one you initially may feel indifferent to, but over the course of the long 60 hours you'll spend with the game, you really see him begin to reflect on his life and genuinely find yourself caring about his outcome. Red Dead Redemption 2 may not be the #1 game of this year, but it comes extremely close. That of course does lead us to the final entry, the game of the year for 2018, and what title could possibly beat the standout Red Dead Redemption 2? I think most of you have probably guessed by now. That's right, the game of the year is none other than God of War. Few developers dare change up a series in the way Santa Monica changed up God of War. After all, it's a huge risk that has a high chance of not paying off and completely alienating the fanbase, but somehow they absolutely pulled it off. With his soft reboot, we get an aging Kratos no longer hell-bent on revenge, instead placing him within a father role, and it's his character development and dynamic between the two that works so well. Gameplay-wise, it provides a fresh over-the-shoulder perspective, some great RPG elements, a brand new main weapon that is super satisfying to use, and of course some unbelievable set pieces that makes for an extremely polished product. The amount of genuine passion and hard work put into God of War by Cory Barlog and his team really emanates, and I cannot wait to see what future games in this series hold. So there you have it, my top 10 list for what I feel are the very best games of 2018. Be sure to let me know what your favourite games are of this year and why. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and hit that bell icon to receive notifications when future videos are posted. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.